My name is Deborah Korn. I am the intergalactic ambassador at Print Media Center, where I provide printspiration and resources to print and marketing professionals. And this is exactly what this session is about today. I met Paula Rivero and her team at Label Expo, where she presented in the Pulse Theater that I was managing for the show. And I was completely blown away by her presentation. Paula is a technology leader driving innovation across print and packaging, helping brands bridge the gap between physical products and digital experiences. As CEO and co founder of Digital Link, she empowers companies to transform printed materials into interactive, data driven tools through dynamic QR code technology and AI. Paula is here to share how marketers are driving engagement, designers are expanding creative possibilities, and how printers can deliver added value to their customers by transforming print and packaging into an interactive portal. One scan, infinite possibilities. That's what Digital Link can bring to life. I'm going to turn off my camera and my mic. Take it away, Paula.
Thank you so much, Deborah. Thank you so much for having us today and for also everything that we've been talking since Label Expo. Today, we're going to dive into how print is evolving from something that is static to something that can be alive, interactive, and measurable. We will see some of the examples and some of the campaigns that we've been helping several brands around the world in how to implement this technology, how to implement QR codes, and also our Clio AI assistant technology, and how they can actually turn each printed piece into something that can talk to their customers directly to them. And well, it's all about print and smarted, and we hope we cover all the different questions that you might have. But it is a very simple way to introduce your printing to the next level, and we will show you a little bit about how to do it. So today we will cover a couple of topics. We have the basics, and the basic is what makes a QR code smart, what it means that a QR code is a smart piece of technology that you can implement, what it means to be what it really means, the print smart part, some real world examples, and how we can actually support you in this journey. And we will cover also the questions that you might have at the end of the presentation. Thank you so much for the introduction about me. Well, I'm the founder and the CEO of Digital Link, and I have more than 15 years of experience in the digital world ecosystem. I've been working with brands such as Amazon, Bimbo, Hasbro, and Heineken, helping them into how to move from traditional channels to digital ones. And it's a very nice experience from the retail point of view, and how you can actually implement different technologies to sell more, to attract more customers, and to reach your audience in a better way. So today also I have my colleague Stephanie, who is joining us to present some of the amazing cases and examples that we have. She has more than a decade of experience in sales and business development, working with brands such as Coca-Cola, Converse, and Yamaha. And at Digital Link, she's leading the sales of she's leading the responsibility that we all have in this company to really make people aware about this technology, about dynamic QR codes, about the next generation barcodes, and how you can actually address these experiences the right way. QR codes are not dead, and actually they are really, really alive with this new initiative by 2027, that they will be replacing the barcodes, the traditional barcodes as we see in any product of today. So as I was mentioning before, we have more than 16 years of experience in driving innovation and setting the standards in the digital solutions environment. We started with QR Code Kit, which is our mother company, US company that was the inventor of the dynamic QR codes. And you will see what a dynamic QR code is in just a second. But thanks to QR Code Kit, since 2009, we've been providing support to several of the brands that you've seen here. And we've seen so many campaigns and so many ways of using this technology. But it's not only about the QR code itself, it's about the experience that you can provide across them. We have also Digital Link, which is a specific vertical of QR code kit that is addressing this big change that we were talking before about how barcodes, the traditional barcodes, will transition into QR codes. And Reality Max is our our North Star. It's an AI product visualization tool where you can design and basically collaborate in a 3D environment. It's really cool. That's also one of the tools that we cross sell, because at the end of the day, you can generate amazing experience with augmented reality, and also use a QR code to basically trigger that kind of experience. So we have a lot of examples and a lot of things that we can cover, and I hope everything will be covered by the end. This is just the wall of fame of some of the brands that already trust us, and some of the campaigns, and where you can actually find us. Like we were at the Oscars gala once, where you actually scan a QR code on your TV, and you access the red carpet, and you could actually see the celebrities walking by. And also we've been at the NFL with the Jaguars from Jacksonville, and of course we are in several products, and some, for example, even services like Netflix or Qatar Airways, when you have to book your flight, or when you have to actually to pass your ticket. If you turn around that QR code, you will see us, and we can tell you a little bit about the experiences that we have from there. So this is something that we always start with. Like, we ask you, like, please scan this QR code. And by the way, this is that kind of webinar or presentation where you need to have your phone really close, because you will see a lot of QR codes, and this is one of them. So if you could scan it, you will have, like, I think it's like 3 questions where we try to understand a little bit more about what's your knowledge related to the QR code world. We always start with this because it gives us a lot of insights about it's like a trivia question, I guess. And to give you an idea, we run exactly the same survey at the Label Expo. You know, Label Expo in Europe is one of the biggest events related to labeling, printing, and everything related to the industry. And we asked the people the same questions, and it was very, very curious to find out about the results, where more than 63% of the attendees, they didn't know about this transition of barcodes to QR codes, this new GS1 digital link QR codes, how they're called. 45% they have used QR codes on the packaging or somewhere. And the main thing, and the most concerning one, is that 55% didn't know the difference between a static QR code and a dynamic QR code. And this is something that we've been fighting since 2009, to be honest, because it's a basic piece of theory that we need to understand in order to understand what is the smart printing of this type of QR codes, of this type of technology. So let's start addressing the elephant in the room. What's the main difference between what is called a static and a dynamic QR code? So if I didn't show you this, where you can actually see where is the static versus the dynamic, and this is a tip you can always use with your friends. If you go out and you see a QR code that it's very cluttered, like this one, well, that is a static QR code. That kind of QR code that it's like, it has a lot of dots and a lot of pattern, like everything. It's like, it looks like a tuna can or something. Well, those are the static QR codes versus the dynamic QR codes, that they look more like stylish, a little bit, they have more air. That's a visual way of identifying it. But the main thing is that the static QR codes, we are talking about something that it cannot be changed. It's something that once it's printed, you cannot redirect it to another place. So, for example, you are running a promotion and you wanted people to land on a specific page, and you want to update once the promotion is over. Well, with a static QR code, you will have to reprint everything. And that means a lot of cost for companies as well, because you have to, like, it's always very hard to keep count of all the places where you have that QR code pasted on. So there's no way to update the content behind that QR code. There's no reporting at all. You want to know where it has been scanned, where this QR code has been scanned the most, or which country, which languages, all the information behind it, you cannot really access it. because it's a static QR code, and of course it requires reprinted if we do any change to it. Apart from the fact that they are like very, we call it an ugly, a clutter and ugly QR code. Meanwhile, dynamic QR codes, they do allow you to change the content as much as you need without having to reprint it. So it's a recyclable QR code. Like now you have a business card with a specific, I don't know, phone number, but you need to update it or add a new one. You couldn't do it in your physical card, but you can actually do it on your QR code. So if somebody scanned that QR code, they will be seeing the latest information about you. Like me with my LinkedIn profile that I need to update my my position there. So you can edit as many times as you need. You can actually track the behavior of that QR code. You can check in which countries has been scanned, in which cities, how many times, which devices people have used, like if it was an iPhone or an iOS or an Android. And this is really important for marketers, because at the end of the day, imagine you want to launch a new app and you want to know a little bit more about your market. Well, with this kind of QR code, you can actually understand a little bit more about your audience. And it's something that with a static QR code, you can never get. So you don't need to reprint it, and you can actually track them. So this is the main difference. And just visually, you can always find what is a static QR code versus a dynamic QR code. The thing is that back in 2009, when nobody knew what a QR code actually was exactly, like regular people like my mom and dad, we invented the first dynamic QR code generator, and now they're even evolving a little bit more. And what do we mean by evolving? Well, the QR codes are the new barcodes. That's the way we call it. Like, we're really glad that there's a big initiative that by 2027, QR codes will start replacing barcodes, the traditional barcode. And what it means that if a product has what it's called a GS1 digital link QR code, this QR code will act as a traditional barcode at the point of sales. So the cashier will take the product and will scan the QR code, not the barcode, and the customer can actually access the information. This is really important, and I'm very glad as a customer from the point of view, because most of the time, if you're traveling and you want, I don't know, you're in Vietnam or you're in Germany and you want to know more about the ingredients of a product, you normally will see it in German or Vietnamese, for example. Well, in this case, you can actually scan the QR code and that information will be shown to you in your own language, the one that you have set up in your phone. And at the end, and also it acts as a barcode at the point of sale. So this is a big shift in the retail sector. This means that QR codes are not dead. They're actually going to be more seeable. And little by little, we will face this transition where we see all the products around us with QR codes that can actually talk to you. And that is a very exciting moment for in general, the industry. This is what we cover with digital link QR codes. What you will notice from this type of QR code is that they have right below the barcode number. That's a security measure, as always, where you can actually type it in the cashier if it's something that's working. But the good thing about this type of QR code is that cashiers read faster QR codes than barcodes. So that's basically why QR codes were invented, because it's a way to read faster information inside of it. And the good thing with them is that you can only connect with your consumer because you will have all this information that you can be adding to them and the experience that you want to design for them, but you can also comply with regulatory changes. So if you need to export to another region, you can make sure that the information that you need can be found directly on the QR code that you're printing in there. So we have static QR codes, dynamic QR codes, and now we are talking about digital link QR codes. With dynamic QR codes, everything that we mentioned before, that it's possible, where you can edit it anytime, you can track and measure the success of this QR code, and you don't need to reprint it. But with digital link QR codes, you can actually track inventory. You can handle recalls, and you can, for example, deliver the content in the language that you want, but also this amazing feature that can be read at the point of sales. So it's like a little evolution of the QR code, the dynamic QR code, into something that it will help the retail to be more efficient and help the consumer to have more transparency in what the information that we want to get from the products we consume on a daily basis, basically. So what we want to like all this story for us, like going from back in on our roots in 2009 when we invented this kind of technology, and then we move forward with this transition. What we really want is that all this information, how we can make it talk, like how we can actually make it like having a conversation with us. That's for us the next big thing. And this is something that we introduced at Label Expo. It was actually the launch of our of our feature, which is Clio AI. It's a way for customers, for people basically who scan any type of QR code. They can access the information that a trustworthy source of truth is telling you. Like it's a brand who's actually telling you the information about the product that you're consuming. So it's not like any traditional AI where you can ask Gemini for Google and they will just grab up everything that's online, and they will tell you things about a specific topic. With Clio AI, basically, it's like if I'm a brand and I want to make sure that my customers are getting the right information in the right language at the right time and with the right tool, well, that's why Clio is that important, because it's defined under these rules where you can ask questions related to the product that you have and have a conversation with it, rather than just read an instructions or just an ingredients print on a packaging or a product. Sorry. So basically, that's what we're talking about: conversational QR codes. For us, is the next big thing. For us, is like the thing that we have to, our responsibility to bring this technology to everybody who wants to make any physical thing, talking thing, like a something that it can actually talk to you like a human. And some of the examples here that we have to mention is, for example, the what would you ask a lavender oil, like an essential lavender oil, or what could you ask, for example, if you have a business card and you want your business card once it's scanned to book meetings for you, like you can actually have this conversational assistant who actually asks the person who scanned your business card to book a meeting for you. Or maybe you're having a, I don't know, karaoke night or a party, and you want to impress your friends, and you have this kind of product at home, and you want to, okay, just tell me what is my cocktail for, what's the best cocktail for tonight, or what can I do, what kind of recipes can I do with it? Well, you can actually have a conversation with the products that you have at home, with the furniture that you want to build, or anything that you want to give it a voice. Also, this is the the poster that you've seen from the International Print Day. It's not only about products or business card; it's about anything where you were to put this technology. And imagine having a poster that can actually answer questions about the event. And that's what Clio did during the International Print Day with this QR code that you can see here, which is a dynamic QR code. And here's a little bit of the information that you can get about the results of the event. So the International Print Day QR code, the QR code, it received more than 19,000 visits from more than 20 countries, being the 49% of them original from the United States. And the main day of the scans, like the peak of a scan, it was the day of the International Print Day, which was actually when it was most relevant. And 26% of the people actually repeated. Like there was a lot of engagement of understanding a little bit more of what was this technology about. So what were those, or what does conversational print look like? We have some of the most asked questions. If we actually scan that QR code today, you will still see Clio and you can actually ask some of the questions. But most of the people ask, can print be measurable and alive? What kind of data can a QR code on print reveal? How can I boost my print projects? How's the future of print linked to AI? And how could this change my business? So these were like the top 5 questions. Like most of the people were really, how would I say it? They were really interested in understanding how this could actually help their business. And it was very nice to see the interaction of Clio answering these questions, also related to the event. But also we had a funny part, which is like, and this is the main difference between any kind of an agent. We have questions, people try, what was the most sold ice cream flavor, for example, Cleo answer was, okay, hey, that's a very good question, but let's pivot back to why you scanned this QR code on the first time. And it's because it's the International Print Day. Do you want to know more about how print got started with it? So this is the human part. This is the part where Cleo it's telling you, I understand that you're asking something that it's not related to the topic, but I'm here to help you with this specific topic. So let's just face it. How can I actually give you information about it? Also, somebody asked if you like football, and Cleo said, well, I'm more into print than sports. But it could be cool that the football team they could actually show a jersey, sorry, with a QR code that actually could talk to you back, right, and can actually tell you a story about the team, maybe. So it actually interact with you in a very creative way of how you can actually implement those questions that are not really related to the poster, to the event, to the product, to the furniture, or something that it's not related to what the brand decided or the business decided to put in there. So if you want to, you can try as well a conversational QR code right now, and it's actually the lavender oil. This one is really, really cool because at the end of the day, you can ask many questions like, I'm really stressed. We even have people asking like, I want to leave my job. How can you help me with that? Well, the essential lavender oil can actually help you with some relaxation tips. So if you scan it and have a conversation with Cleo, you will find out a little bit more how this interaction could actually work. And this is actually one of the business cases that we have. These companies using these QR codes on their packaging to cover not only the engagement part with consumers, but also the regulatory part. As you know, in Europe, there's a big initiative for the digital product passport, and this is for a cosmetic product that would take place in next year. A new regulation will take over, so they are getting ready for that, and they have all the information that they need from a legal point of view, but also the engagement part for consumers. So it's a really interesting case of how you can implement this technology like very easily and be always updated with any change that might arise later. So when we are talking about print and smart, what we want and what we see is like we're bringing print to life with the help of technology, where you can actually define personalized experiences. You can help customers either move down the sales funnel or maybe just improving their experience with your product, improving their experience with your event, asking them about reviews, asking them about, I don't know, questions that you want. It's your channel and the voice that you can give to your printing in order to have the opportunity and talk to them. And all this, as you've seen before, like you can actually track it. You can actually understand how they're using it and how you can actually improve your next campaign, your next product, your next project. So it's always about thinking about this opportunity of, okay, I have this one single opportunity to really talk and provide value to the people I'm trying to reach. So it's always very nice to define it well and have an experience that would really satisfy the whole experience with them. And now, Stephanie,
Yes,
let
thank
me
you, Paula.
you,
So now that you talk about experiences, we are very proud about our clients, their creativity, and the way that QR codes reach these places, like the New York Times Times Square here. So we can share too many details, but let's just say that sales skyrocket. The effect after showing this QR code after the campaign is that Takes Cookie took over this Times Square for National Cookie Day. And it was a bold move because it mixed real world presence with a simple QR code on a massive screen. So everybody was looking at it. What happened next? People scanned, shared, and started hunting for these cookies. And the campaign went viral within hours during the entire day. They literally ran out of cookies in minutes. And that's what happened when visibility meets instant digital action. When the printing or the print leaves the page and takes over the city or the humans. We have another example and to talk about how you can use these QR codes. And here we have the Jacksonville Jaguars as well. They basically turn a QR code into a ticket booth. You can actually, you could scan and buy your ticket instantly from anywhere. And they also were experimenting with pricing, regional discounts, and different fan segments to reach more people. So the result were more registrations. They've fuller stadiums, and super valuable insights about where their fans were coming from. This was not just about selling tickets, but also about building a data-driven connection between fans and the game itself. Thank you. The next one, we see here Decathlon. What we have is shoppers can scan here QR codes and on the shelves. So they will have information and real customer reviews before buying anything. This small feature had a big impact on the business because they saw that they had fewer refunds, more confident purchases, and also happier customers. It also helped with cross-selling. When people read reviews, they often find similar products that also complement what they were buying. In this case, this QR code didn't just reduce uncertainty, but it turned transparency into a sales driver. And the next one is another experience. This is one that I really like. This photo is actually mine. And if you ever take a flight with Qatar Airways, if you flip your boarding passport, you will see this QR code. In this case, Qatar added a QR code to the back of their boarding passes, and passengers could scan it to track their flight, to get real-time updates on their app, and even check their meal options. You can even set the food preferences you have for that flight. The outcome, they have a spike in app downloads and stronger engagement through this app. And also, this is a perfect example on how something as traditional as a boarding pass can become a digital experience that literally travels with you. As you see already, there's many benefits, as Paula was telling you before. What we can say that what do all these examples have in common? They turn something static, something that is printed, something that is out there, packaging, tickets, ads, or even a cookie box into a digital product. They prove that adding this small little square, a QR code, is not just a technical move, but it's a way to add value to this print, to make it interactive, to give a digital world to this product, to make it to live longer. And these brands, they were an example of how showing this engagement doesn't have to be complex or super expensive. You just can be creative. And with our technology, you will realize that it's very intuitive, instant, and completely scalable. So it fits for any type of ideas, any size of ideas. The real benefit you see here is that you can create loyalty and sales directly from your product, from your print. You can connect with your audience in real time. You can have data from there. And also you can make packaging and print part of your digital strategy and don't have it separately.
Those were a little bit of the examples that we have to share with you today. And also we wanted to make it clear that this is simple. You don't need a technical team to implement this kind of technology. You just need something like yourself signing up for it, where you access a dashboard where you can create all the different experiences like the ones that we've been seeing before. And it's like just signing up for Netflix, I would say. Then you have a second step where you actually create this kind of experience. You define what is the communication that you want to give to that QR code, and you can add as many elements. It's a drag and drop editor, and it's super funny and easy to create. And of course, then we have the print, the share and engage. Like this is the part where you actually choose the style of your QR code. You download it in the type of format that you need for your printing. You can actually also share the link. That's another way of sharing these experiences that you can add. You can copy and paste the link of this QR code and maybe share it on an email, on WhatsApp, or anywhere that you need it. And then the QR code is completely ready. Like sign up, you create, and you edit it to be shared. And this is the part where you can actually get a little bit of more information about it, like where has been scanned, what were the visits over time, what time of the day, what day of the week, like which type of browsers, like the granularity of information that you can access from your QR codes. It will give you a lot of insight about how you can address your audience in a better way. So it's as simple as that. And actually, what we say is that we design digital link, we design all the digital products that you've seen before, like for you to have peace of mind. It's a self-serve platform. You can create this type of technology in less than a minute. You will have a chat there, like a live chat. Where it's actually real people that you can chat with us via live chat, via email. We also help support you via phone, and of course you have Clio also to try it and test it. And we take care of all the different needs that you might have. You've seen it before, like in this wall of fame of the different brands that we work with. Like several of them, they know about what they want to deliver, but sometimes they don't. They are not very sure about it. So we are actually work as a consultant for them in what's the best way to address your market and address your project. And well, you don't need IT, and also we have ISO certified. Um, for example, the 27001, which is one of the strongest one for security, and the last one, which is, I think is the most important one, is that you actually can get 5 QR codes for free. So when you sign up, you directly access those 5 digital QR codes and dynamic QR codes directly on your account. So we want people to succeed with this tool, and we don't want to make it hard to to connect your printing to this online world. And for us, it's like all of us has something on their hand that could actually have a communication, a voice, and can actually tell us something. And that's what we were saying before. Like it's our responsibility. We want to make it mean more. We want to make it speak human, and that's why we are adding this QR for conversational printing. And we are just ready for your questions. And if you're ready to embrace the future, you just sign up, scanning this QR code, and you get access to these 5 free QR codes that we were mentioning before, and you can start testing it and using it.
Okay, first of all, amazing presentation. I've got a million things I want to discuss now, if that's okay with you. Okay, first of all, I just want to make it really clear, not that you didn't, but I just want to emphasize that packaging and labels is the first thing you would think of to use this on, and it's amazing to do that, but don't think it doesn't work on direct mail. Don't think it doesn't work on posters like we did. I mean, I cannot believe we had almost 20,000 scans of that QR code. And I will tell you right now that I have never had any data about anything like that. So just to know that, I mean, is going to set the printiverse on fire in a very good way. I do want to give a couple of real life examples, and this is something that just has been happening to me frequently, but just happened yesterday, so it's very timely. About starting maybe 6 months ago, I started getting emails from Amazon about this portable battery I bought from Anchor like 2 years ago, telling me that there's a recall. And it's giving me like all the different battery numbers, as if, how the hell am I supposed to know what my battery number is, right? So I searched back through my order history. I found the model I have, and I had to do a ridiculous amount of research online to see if I had the battery that they're like, don't plug this thing in anymore. So I can't find anything about it, but it's everything I'm searching is telling me my battery's okay, but yet Amazon is still sending me emails warning me about this battery. If there was a freaking dynamic QR code with Clio on there, I could just say, is this one of the batteries that's being recalled? And it would say yes or no, and my life could go on. Now, this might seem like a ridiculous example, but it's the drip factor. This happens to us multiple times a day and just starts sucking all your time into, even with Chat GPT. Let me tell you, wasn't very handy because it didn't know which battery I had. So everything that you're saying is in my mind about the end user experience and what the person who's created the print, whether it's a package, whether it's a label, whether it's a poster, whether it's a postcard, whether it's a floor graphic with the QR code, what is the experience you want the people to have? And just being able to scan something in a store, especially when you're making a purchase that you're not so sure about. Um, I use this example often because I don't really drink. So when I go into like a liquor store, I'm one of those people that buys based on shiny labels, unfortunately. But to be able to get more information about like what it might taste like or anything like that, or I know that I'm going to a vegetarian's house, like will this pair with vegetables or anything like that, is just customer convenience. It is consumer convenience, and it is, once I have an understanding about the thing that I'm purchasing or reading or learning about, then I'm going to keep going back to that source because I have information about it. So this is really exciting to me, especially coming from an advertising agency, because my God, I would be telling every client I had who did anything with a box, we don't need to put a barcode and a QR code anymore. And the designers will literally have a parade in the hallway about something like that. So I just wanted to get that in. And also for the printers out there, can can you imagine? I mean, yes, you might say, well, if we do a QR code and it could be updated, we don't have to print again. Yes, exactly. And that money that you would use to print again, you could apply to customer loyalty. You could apply to creating one-to-one personalized messaging with the people who are scanning the QR code, which brings me to this. What is the type of data that can be reported on this?
Oof. Any data at the end of the day depends on, for example, like the basics are which countries have the QR code been the most scanned, for example, countries, cities, neighbors. You could actually add also a layer of, okay, I want to know specifically the store where people have scanned this QR code, for example. And you could actually locate this was from this store, from this area, from this other one. So those are like the general statistics, but at the end of the day, you can actually cross the information from, I don't know, like did this QR code actually ended up in somebody buying the product or a related product of my portfolio, or they just check it and they left. Or for example, just imagine another way of using this is like somebody wants to leave a review from your store, your business, your restaurant. They scan the QR code, they leave the good or bad review, and you can actually give a prize to them. You can say, hey, can you actually, like, I don't know, you left a very good review. You can actually tell them like, hey, just here you have a 50% discount for your next purchase with us, or something like that. So you can have as many layers of information as you need, depending on how deep you want to get. It's always anonymous at the end of the day, because this is like it's the way the statistic works. Like you can know how many iPhones scan the QR codes, but you cannot know who scanned the QR code. That is super important to mention. But it's at least it give you all this information that you can apply to the product, the printing, the project that you are actually adding this QR code. We have a lot of people. It's funny, a lot of people, for example, using QR code for when they need to present something at the university, like a thesis, and they have the QR code that drives you to a specific presentation or to an Excel sheet with a lot of information. That's another way of using it. You can actually see how many times your teacher scanned the QR code, for example, and it's a good sign. Maybe you pass the exam or you pass the project that you are having. So at the end of the day, it just depends on the project and how you want to implement it. But the data is really, really rich. And for example, one thing that we do, for example, for restaurants who use QR codes for menus, at the end of the day, is like, now you can talk to your menu. You can actually ask your menu and say, hey, what about this dish? Is it really good or not? Or you can have this kind of information as well. And you can actually see the questions that people are doing to your restaurant. And also you can have that information as well, not only about who scanned it, but also what are their interests.
Yeah.
So it's very, very wide.
Yeah, I mean that becomes super important because it is the same concept of putting a pixel on somebody's website and seeing what they're looking at over and over again. So if you're a company and you can see the questions and you see that 60% of the people are asking the same question, then you can actually invest in educating on that topic so that you have now moved 60% of people interested in your products and services enough to scan a QR code down the decision making funnel because you can pre-answer the questions that you assume they're going to ask, whether it's on the package, new formula without this in it, or whatever it might be. So when it comes to the AI part, which I think is the most interesting of it, besides the fact that you can change the links on the QR code. I mean, if you
Yes,
just used it for that, it would be worth it. But now it's going to another level. And I'm very happy that you shared that nobody needs a degree in IT. You don't need a whole
not at all.
full department of computer programmers. You can take care of all of this. Now, if you're a brand or a marketer, that makes sense that you would have that information. Where it gets a little trickier is for printers to maybe understand what the options are to share with their customers about what is
Hmm.
possible. So, do you do any sort of like onboard discussions or training? And how do you support people who have questions? Do you have a worldwide customer service team? Just get into that a bit.
Yeah, no, we definitely do, and this is something that we are really, really proud of. That we have this amazing customer success team that can. They are like literally experts on QR codes and how to define these experiences in general. So that's why I was saying at the beginning, like we've seen so many cases and so many different uses that at the end of the day, 16 years of experience and understanding what the industry or what category needs. It's a knowledge that we can provide from our products. And yes, we either do it from the live chat, from email, or from one-on-one sessions. We have onboardings. We have anything that you need related to um, like we also offer the possibility to talk on the phone and understand a little bit more about how to implement it. But at the end of the day, it's like to have very clear, okay, I want to reach this audience and I want to do this. And that's when we actually proactively propose it, like, okay, you want to do, for example, the QR code for the poster. Well, okay, we need to have a little bit of information about the event, this and this information, and we needed to put it in a way that Cleo, for example, will interact talking about that, and also we'll cover other topics, and we'll cover all the topics that she kind of mentioned. For example, that there are things that, for example, most of the time related to allergies, stuff like that. They are very delicate stuff. So there's ways of training the model in a way that it will respond in a proper way. So that experience is what we have and what we actually can provide assistance when you actually need to share to start building the experience. It's a US company, but we are worldwide. So some of the cases that you've seen, it's from the US specifically, but some then they are actually from other countries around the world. And it is just amazing to cover the different needs and the different questions that people have. But most of the time is they know more or less what they want to say, but it's how we guide them to, okay, this needs to be successful. So make sure the QR code follows the standard, follows a nice call to action, a nice way to cover the information that you want to address. And then the layer of Clio and all this, and all this AI is part of the how we structure this feature in order to make it simple for people. Just by telling us the category, we can provide already like a playbook of how to implement it the right way.
Excellent. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Did everybody think this was cool? You better have. It's very cool. Um, so the last thing I want to say about this before we wrap up, and I hope everybody's taking advantage of the, trying out with the 5 QR codes, which is a very generous offer. So
Yeah.
thank you for that. The thing about technology and the thing about new technology, especially since this is not, let's let's not call it new. This is an improvement on something that's already everywhere because of the pandemic. So
Yeah.
this is the next step. The dynamic QR code would be the next step. Attaching the AI to it is beyond that. What I would say to everybody out there, as somebody who sat buying print for over 25 years for global brands, is that you want to be the one to tell your customers about this technology, even if they don't use it, even if they don't use it. Because the next person that comes to tell them about this, they're going to say, actually, I already know what this is from my other resource, whatever it might be. That will move you up the thought leadership chain organically by yourself. And at that point, they might want to look into it because now two people have told them. And I will tell you, I we are loyal to the first person who told us because that's just the way it is. I might learn some information from the next person who tells me something, but I will verify it with the first person who told me because I already assume they know more than the new
Mhm.
person because they were first. So learn all you can about it. Check out the free 5 QR codes. Use them for yourself first. Be your own test case, which is what I did. And oh my God, 19,800 scans, 20 countries. Incredible. Thank you so much for all of that and for being here today. I don't see any questions because you did such an amazing job. Why don't you just wrap it up and then we'll close down the webinar.
Well, we really hope that it was something easy to understand. At the end of the day, as you said, Deborah, like QR codes, they grow a lot after the pandemic. They've been around since more than the dynamic QR codes we invented, and it is just that what we wanted to make sure is that you understand the basics in order to understand now that your printing, your labels, your products, your projects, they can now listen. It's not only about showing the information like you would do in a manual of instruction. It's about they can listen to your audience and they can learn from it, and actually they can speak human. That's something that we always say. It is like it's a big difference between the way you can speak with your customer if you actually speak the same language. And that's why for us Clio is has been so important, and it is our style right now. What that we were the first one bringing conversational QR codes to the table, and we really hope that as simple as we were showing before, it's a sign up process where you access the dashboard, you create your experience, you have your QR codes right away. And as you said, if you start using it on your own, you will find the different needs, you'll find the different use cases that you can implement. But believe me, there are tons of them. Like we actually, in the US, this is a very nice case. In the US, we have the Amber Alert to find several kids, for example. They use it on the cardboard for milk. So you can actually scan the QR code and you can actually update information for that. And those were like very nice cases. Also, we support WWF for some of the campaigns that they have in Thailand. So there are many ways of implementing QR codes, and there are many ways for the printing sector to offer that to their customers, because at the end of the day, it's something that if you're going to print something and it doesn't have a QR code, where you're missing that opportunity. You're communicated up to a level, but not to the next level, which is actually you can have a real conversation, and talking to people is like super important. And the transparency that you're adding to everything that you do with that, it's what really matters, at least for society in general, and the way we see it is something that anybody in the world can apply.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time and attention. Thanks everybody for attending. And until next time, print long and prosper, everybody.